Today, the theme that I want to discuss, talk about, this is fresh for me, it's just around the power of having a business plan. As I've been sharing over the last, I think, month or so, we're building a new branch of Majik Media, which is going to be the Majik Kids publishing business. And so I've built a lot of different products, businesses, experiments over the last 16 years. And every single time, I always make a business plan. And the business plan could be 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages max. I've written 50 something page business plans as well, which are less fun. But just having a business plan increases our ability to execute on the plan. If we don't have a plan written down on paper, then it gives us a lot more space to just flail. Whereas if we have a plan, we can follow the plan, and then we can start to adapt and adjust and see, oh, is the plan actually working? Do I need to change anything in the plan? How's this plan doing? Okay, let's change the plan in 6 months or a year from now. And so yesterday I sat down, I spent, I don't know, what I'm going to show you is probably about 5 hours of work to build the business plan for the Majik Kids publishing biz. And when I look at it, it brings me so much peace of mind because it's just like, oh, this is exactly what we're going to do. These are the steps. This is how the business works. This is how it makes money. This is how we pay people. This is what we're going to charge. These are our expenses. All of a sudden, it's just like this living organism known as a business. It's all just right there. And I can just breathe a sigh of relief of like, okay, I know what to do. I'm just going to follow what I've laid out here. And so I'm going to show all of you what I've put together. So for me, I may or may not be getting investment capital for this. I've already had one offer, so that tells you that it's the plan. You know, if you are getting investment capital ever, having the business plan laid out helps investors or potential partners to know that you understand what you're going to be doing as well. So I'm not pitching any of you. I'm just showing you what I've put in my business plans so that if you're doing a business plan, this will help you understand what sort of things you want to think about and put in yours. For all you Majik members out there, there is in the featured posts, there is a Create Your Majik Business Plan class that I did with PDFs and questions to help you flesh something out similar to this. And then I just did this in Canva to make it a little bit more fancy. So Majik Kids, always start with a who am I, just so if you're sharing this with somebody, they get a bit of a context about who you are. And then context around what's the story, like how is your business that you're building a part of the zeitgeist of today? So, you know, the world is at, and what the world needs is more stories that are magical, inspiring, and funny. So then I start with a testimonial from one of the kids, one of my son's friends, who said that the Majik Kids stories are like movies for their ears. And then introducing Majik Kids. So that's where, you know, introducing the business, the project, product, whatever it is that you're doing. What do we offer? So here are the 3 things we offer: audio stories, paid subscription, illustrated books. So this is the business. We have 3 products that we have or that we sell. The business model. So there's 2 different business models. Number 1 is we write incredible stories. We produce magical audios. We illustrate the stories and we sell the books. So it's just broken down, so simple. I tried to use as few words as possible to describe exactly what it is. Business model number 2 is a subscription. So sell a monthly subscription to fans, share exclusive behind the scenes content, let fans be the first to hear new stories, and give patrons discounts on books. So super simple, $7 a month sort of subscription model. And then a partnership. So this is what makes the business work, is we've got Majik, so Majik Media, which writes, illustrates, produces, curates, delights our audience, and sells the books and subscriptions through our websites and through all the different platforms our stories will be available. And then I've found a partner who fortunately lives just across the water from me, called Tellwell Publishing. And They do all the editing, the book formatting, they take all the orders, they do distribution through 39,000 locations, and they send Majik Kids our revenue checks quarterly based on all the books that we sell. And then Majik Kids can distribute the money accordingly to investors and to the authors and illustrators. So what makes our publishing business different from traditional publishing is we're paying 3 times more than traditional publishing. Traditional publishing is usually anywhere from 8 to 12% of sales. So we're doing 30% for authors and 30% for illustrators. And basically, we're going to write and curate the stories we want to tell, build a team of illustrators, voice actors, and musicians to bring those magical tales to life. We'll be publishing 4 new audio stories per month and 4 new books per month. Now, this might sound overwhelming to some people, but when we're curating stories from other authors and we start to build a team of illustrators, when we get to, say, the dozen illustrators mark, this will be able to really operate and have a solid turnaround. Predictable costs. So, if you're writing your business plan, it's really important for you to know how much do I have to spend? What apps am I using? What services do I have to have? What are the hard costs that you just know are there? So these are the predictable costs for Majik Kids. For every single book we want to create, these are the hard costs. Sale prices, like how much are we selling the products for? So for us, we're going for more of a boutique bookstore. So our prices are going to be a little bit more than what you'll pay in a bookstore, but we're aiming to sell to our fans that want to see our existence continue on into the future. Obviously, once we start getting into larger sales, these book prices will be able to go down significantly because we'll get bulk order prices. Revenue sharing, so per book, how much do we make, how much do our authors make, and that's based on the highest price point through Tellwell. Revenue potential, so how much can Majik Kids actually make for softcover and hardcover books? How much can the authors and illustrators make? So this is, when I'm making the case in point to our authors and illustrators, I say, here's the revenue potential. We don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to pour all of our creative energy and marketing know-how into this project, and these are the potentials of how much money you could make. The marketing strategy, so just kind of a step-by-step on how are we going to market and sell. And obviously for the launch of this, we'll be tapping into all of the relationships that I've built over the years that might be aligned with spreading the kids' stories. Hiring a book manager. So I have somebody in mind right now, but I'm essentially going to need a book manager to run the side of the business that is not the producing and writing and illustrating side, somebody to just oversee the operations of the business. Startup expenses, how much is it going to cost to get our first 12 books off the ground? And so I just needed to know that so that I have an idea of like how much investment is going to be required up front before we start to see that coming back. And obviously, we don't have to do 12 books. 4 books is what we're aiming for to have by the end of the summer. But I just want to secure the first 12 books so that I know we've got a runway. Investment opportunities. So if you were to get if you wanted investors, just what is the opportunity? What is the profit sharing? How does it work? Do they get shares? Do they get commissions? What is the actual sharing if you are doing that? And then if you're doing investments, what's the return on investment potential? So, then you want to pivot and actually show, if you're presenting this to a partner or something, show the work that you've already done. So we've already mastered 4 of our stories with sound effects and voiceovers and music and all that sort of stuff as our minimal viable product. And we're starting to get our first illustrations in. So this is our version 1.0 for one of the stories, The Master's Apprentice, that I wrote. And then this is what a finished version looks like, minus the spelling mistake in the bottom left corner. And so just trying to show this is the direction we're going. We have these systems, it's working. And so for, when I present this later on for a potential investor, if they're interested, connect with me. and invest in Majik Kids. So the power of the business plan now is I have this. If I hire on a business manager, it's clear this is the path we're going. This is our operating expenses, all that sort of stuff. I mean, I did this in 5 hours yesterday. And I could have just wrote it on paper, but for me, having something that's a work of art makes me more excited about the project, which is why I did it in Canva instead of in a Word document. And ultimately, the business plan tells the story of what you're trying to create. And having the step-by-step plan is essential for getting to where you want to go. What are your expenses? What are you selling? How many of those things do you need to sell to cover the expenses? How many of those things do you need to sell in order to pay yourself the salary? So I encourage you all, it's worth spending a day just taking a step back from admin work and the grind of trying to build the product and just write a simple business plan. It could be 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, or it could be more of a work of art like what I just demonstrated, but just to understand your numbers, to be able to communicate as clearly and simply as you possibly can. What are you doing? How do you do that? Who are you serving? How does that work? And once you know that, I mean, you can just feel more at ease because every day when you show up, you're just following the plan that you set out for yourself. And then if the plan doesn't work, you start to adapt that plan and redirect your energy in a different way. But at least you have a plan to know if what you're doing is working or not. That's why we should have business plans.